We are brought to you in part by the Union Street in Berwick, Nova Scotia. Recorded live here in the Annapolis Valley, this podcast is lucky enough to be on the stage of one of the country's best venues and restaurants. It has a long, lovely history of being family-owned, even has its own best-selling cookbook. Holy frig, that's unique. And did I mention it's an incredible venue? Like the best sound for your money anywhere. Suck it, Massey Hall. I said it, but that's me, not Union Street saying that. Back to them. They're incredible. Come there sometime. Come down sometime. I'll probably be there at the end of the bar talking about Massey Hall. Let's chat. Okay, successful sponsor ad, right? Welcome, one and all and one. Thank you for tuning in to the Friendly Heckler. This is, in fact, episode 6. If you didn't bother looking at the episode description, if you're so hungry for a new episode of this podcast that you practically tore your phone to shreds, pawing at this episode 6. This is... if this is your first episode, well, let me give you a little description of what I'm doing here at the Friendly Heckler headquarters. So far, the episodes have been recorded live at the Union Street in Nova Scotia. I'm very lucky that they let me try this out in their space. I started the show to document all these weird moments in history, places like the Union Street, the artists, the audiences, everything. And within each of them, everything has... something unique to offer, every little aspect of the live performances. And I wanted to capture all of that on an audio file. So we've been selling tickets to the live shows. That way I've been able to pay artists for their time. And actually, if you're enjoying the show and have listened to a bunch of episodes so far but haven't made it to the live shows, well, one, we'd love to have you there. Please come out. But two, if you're too far away, you can definitely e-transfer any donations to the show to keep it going, keep it sustained, allow me to pay some artists some more money so I can, showcase more artists as well and get everybody here. Or come to you. That would be amazing. So email me at thefriendlyheckler@gmail.com. That's THEFRIENDLYHECKLER@gmail.com. If you feel so inclined, I would be so warmed by your dollars. Quite literally. I mean, you'd be paying my heating, and the recording equipment can get quite hot, so I guess I can use that for heating. But another option is me coming down to you. So email me, tell me who I should have on the show, maybe send some money, tell me where I should come to. Let's set up a show together. Anyway, within all of that, the live aspect is like my favorite part of the show. It really is. It's so strange. It's like trapeze with no net in a way, Within it is like the element of the unknown, the invitation of chaos, and maybe the flirtation with disaster, or disaster's more interesting sister, discomfort. All that to say, I love it. I love the feeling it brings, and I believe that combined, it makes up the flame that is essential for roasting reality into what can become art. I don't know about your community, but here in Nova Scotia, there are some excitable music fans, and we had a fan at this episode who embodies the very spirit of that element of surprise I've been hinting at this whole time. So enjoy the reality of that while you're listening, and while dining on the delights of Terra Spencer's tasty tunes. Terra is the consummate pro, and I get her to play all her B-sides, I guess. They're all my favorite tunes. Maybe she hasn't even recorded them. Maybe you're hearing them for the first time. But we talk about those, the release of her new album, Old News, with Ben Kaplan, her appearance as Judee Sill, the Judee Sill, in a film debut. That's her film debut in New York, actually. Did you know that? Well, you're going to hear about it. Of course, she heckles me. So she heckles the Friendly Heckler, which is welcome fodder for this old pup. It's like the spirit of this episode really was deep, friendly heckling, deep into it, between Terra heckling me and the woman who was like the Toby woman, that episode of Seinfeld where Jerry goes to her office and heckles her. I love that episode. Our fam wasn't that bad. She really reminds me of Toby when I think of her. But I'm still glad our Toby came out to the show. It made my night in the end, and we hugged it out too. So I get to play a real needle in this episode and antagonize the audience and, well, the friendly heckler and Terra a little bit, I guess, and which I think I had to balance the scales and play a needle because Terra's so damn sweet. We go so many places. Terra's material for playing, her ability to handle wild cards like our Toby, they all really soar in this episode. So, enough of my yammering. Here
Everybody in the room, please put your hands together for Terra Spencer.
Oh, that laughing bit was delightful. Yeah, I could use more of that. I'm just going to call you up and have you tell me to laugh.
Laugh! Laugh!
Oh, that's great. Oh, my gosh. I am so happy to be here. Thank you all for coming out in the blizzard of the winter. Yeah, that's pretty tame, actually. So thank you for making it anyway. Thanks, Zach. Nice to see you.
You too.
You doing well?
Too. Oh, I'm so healthy. How are you?
So healthy.
So healthy, I think, yeah.
First of all, congrats.
No doctor, so that's my guess. You look good, too.
Thanks. We coordinated our outfits for the show. For the listener.
For the listener, we're wearing onesies.
So can I clarify this right now?
Yeah, please.
So Zach wrote to me just before I was leaving Windsor and said, are you wearing a onesie to the show? And I don't know what you understand onesie to mean, but I am really glad I clarified because I was convinced that Zach meant like one-piece pajamas, like you would dress a toddler in.
My fashion knowledge is based off the Oshkosh collection. That's like as far as I get with.
Yeah.
So onesie, yeah, is like an applicable term to several outfits.
Well, it is, but...
Nighttime onesie, daytime onesie.
Oh, my gosh, we're getting complicated. So I'm glad I clarified. And Zach thought I was being cheeky because I wrote back and said, you mean like pajamas, right? Like one-piece pajamas. And Zach said, ha, 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 you silly girl. And I was being totally serious because I am in possession of a complete head-to-toe red fleecy, what I would call a onesie.
Wonder Woman onesie.
And Wonder Woman one-piece pajamas with the feet in them. And I brought them just in case that's what he meant.
Yeah, I was kind of, the show does go till after 9. So if we need to take a break and everyone wants to get into their PJs and then we come back for the last part of the show.
Yeah,
that's
jammy
okay.
party.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to be in my boxers up here. I hope that's okay with everyone. That's how I sleep.
We will end before 9 o'clock.
Yeah. So please start the show.
Oh, okay. I thought that's supposed to be. Okay, should I play a song?
Oh, that would be great.
Okay. Let's play some guitar. On a hill overlooking the town, we spent 10 years looking down, built a home and let it fall to the ground, with no love left inside. On the floor laid with our 4 hands, stands the latest of your one-night stands. Please remind her to water my plants and keep them satisfied. After all of the ink has dried, after all of the tears are cried, after you undo the knot we tied, I hope you're satisfied. I know the kids don't want to be in this cramped, damp apartment with me. They miss their friends and their cable TV. to keep them occupied. They say they're really angry at you. Give them time and they'll hate me too. But there's only so much I can do to keep them satisfied. After all of the ink has dried, after all of the tears are cried, after you undo the knot we tied, I hope you're satisfied. Divide all the times that we shared. Add a dash of life's not fair. Subtract acting like you cared. Our troubles multiply. No matter how we do the math, you always get the better half. I had never seen our lawyer laugh, instantly gratified. After all of the ink has dried, after all of the tears are cried, after you undo the knot we tied, I hope you're satisfied. After all of the ink has dried, after all of the tears are cried, at the end of the day I can say I tried to keep you satisfied. Ooh.
I am satisfied. I certainly am. Yes. Are you satisfied? Are you satisfied? We're all satisfied.
Well, thanks for coming out. Have
That's
a great
it.
night.
Yeah.
Safe
Thanks.
drive.
Yeah. Nice Tom Power move. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for having us. Oh, that's awesome. What's that called?
That is called Satisfied.
That is to the point. You are strictly all business. Welcome, Tara.
Thank you. I am
Welcome.
so happy to be here.
You didn't
Union
drive
Street.
too far either.
No, just far enough.
Yeah,
from
Windsor?
Windsor, yes.
And so you're living in Windsor, and you're not born and raised in Windsor, but you are Nova Scotian.
That's correct.
Unlike
yeah.
me.
Lifelong Nova Scotian. Thank you very much.
Never going anywhere else. That's a claim.
Okay. Yeah. If
Yep,
you say
said
so.
it here first. You're not allowed to leave. She said lifelong, so she'll never leave.
Or I'll die very soon.
Oh, yeah. Just kidding. You're going to Alberta like this week, aren't you?
I am. I shouldn't joke about
No.
that kind of thing.
No.
So. Yes. Yeah.
You know what? You've written enough songs that have confronted some death and some really heavy issues anyway. So I feel like there's a lot of you can joke about that.
You can joke about it. I was just talking to a friend here, Joe, before the show, and death and taxes. It's that old phenomenon. And death is more fun to joke about than taxes. So.
Well, have you ever heard a good accountant joke? Oh my God.
A good accountant, there's no such thing.
My grandfather was an accountant.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I don't.
What happened to him?
He got shot in a bar fight, actually. Anyway, so I don't. He must have been a bad accountant, I guess. Anyway, you're going to Alberta. Where are you going at the end of the month?
The end of the month, the very end of the month, I am going to Kansas City, Missouri.
Ooh.
I know.
First time?
First time to Missouri. I did.
It's Missouri, isn't it?
Is it?
I don't
Missouri?
know. Is it Missouri?
Missouri.
Anybody from Missouri here? Yep, that's well.
So
yep,
it's enough.
It's Missouri.
Missouri. Thank you for that.
Yep.
In the USI. So the first time I crossed the border was late last year. That was the first time I'd ever been to the United States.
Where'd you go?
New York City. Yeah.
New York, New York.
It
Did
was
you sing it?
all of those things. It really was.
Did you spin in Times Square with your arms out? And
Okay, here's what happened. So my daughter went with me. She'd been once before on a school band trip.
Yeah.
And I called up my husband to FaceTime on the phone to show him Times Square because I was so excited, the lit up billboards. And my daughter started laughing because I was talking so excitedly to my husband back home. And halfway through the call, she said, Times Square is actually around the corner.
Oh, where were you? Where were you? In an alleyway?
You are just seeing one billboard at the end of the street.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I'm from Somerville, Hants County.
Amazing. But by the shore, so that makes you worldly because a lot of things wash up on shore, right?
You can get to a lot of places by water.
You could get to New York from where you live.
Yes, I think so. The tide's in the right direction.
I guess that's the next tour, Tara.
Yeah.
You and I, boat tour down to New York.
The tidal tour.
We're doing the Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Mississippi, and take it to Missouri, take a left at New York, and then... That's awesome. Wow, Kansas, eh? You're going to Kansas. What for?
Folk Alliance International.
Amazing. How many of those
Yes.
have you done? You've been to a few Folk Alliance, right?
I've been to one in person back in 2019, the first tour I ever went on.
The good
Infamous.
old days.
Yes, yeah. And then just did some virtual things,
Okay.
which were not as fun. And now this will be more fun.
Amazing. In Kansas. Oh, yeah, because the
Yeah.
one in 2019, was that in New Orleans?
It was in Montreal.
Oh, okay, cool. There was one
Yes.
in New Orleans I so badly wanted to go to.
Yeah,
I
me
was gonna
too.
join up just for that.
Oh, you should come. Come to Kansas City.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of great historic music from Kansas, so I would love to celebrate that boogie woogie.
Oh, you could come boogie woogie
Oh,
there.
man, yeah.
We've got our
let's-
matching suits.
That's true. Should we go
Yes.
to the States? Like, we'll get pulled over the border so quick dressed in onesies. We kind of look like we're either starting a commune
Yep.
or like we're going to get you into like some sort of workout, like calisthenics routine at the end of the show.
Yeah. We look like we could repair your wagon wheel.
Yeah.
If you needed it.
But I just supervise because you've got the brown outfit, so I just stand back and go like, I wouldn't dirty my whites like this.
No, yours is too clean. You
Yeah.
need a clipboard.
Yeah. Tara, I'd like to. That first song was off of your first album, wasn't it?
That's right.
Yeah, which was Other People's Lives,
That's correct.
which I always play with in my head because you had a song on there called Other People's Wives.
Very tricky, very
So
confusing.
tricky and cheeky,
Yeah.
but enjoyable. Have you guys listened to that album yet? I'm talking to the podcast listeners. Sorry. No, I'm talking to the audience. Please. Have you guys listened to that? Clap. Yeah, of course. It's a great album. And that was the first one that you did. And I love that you
Yeah.
opened the show with a song from your first album. It's so
Unplanned. Yes.
great.
Yeah.
That great word for it. The whole show is unplanned. That's the beauty.
Yeah. Well, till the heckling starts, I'm sure.
Oh, it's
Do you have
already
all of that
begun.
planned
This is
out?
it. This is why it's a friendly heckle, because this is as much as I heckle. Like, look,
this
if the listener can't see how I'm positioned right now, but I'm leaning like really low on a table, just kind of leaning into you.
We're
this is my
holding
heckling.
hands. That's-
Yeah. Graham Nicholas and I basically did hold hands the whole time behind the table so people couldn't see.
I've listened to every episode of
You're
this
so
podcast so far,
dedicated.
and I just picture the two of you like cuddled up, looking out at the stars together by the end of the podcast. You
That
got
was-
cozier and cozier.
That was the night before. We did spend Christmas together. So yeah, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of dominoes games.
Wow. Did you pop any questions on New Year's Eve?
Yeah, I asked him if he would move in with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And?
He already has an apartment.
Oh, I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
Zach.
That was a good excuse on his part, but
Yeah.
I want to bother you to. I'm gonna heckle you.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Please, will you play a song off your first album as well? Everybody Knows.
Oh.
I love this song. I heard this.
Okay.
When I first heard your music, I was so struck by it because to me, I love bossa nova. I have a real soft spot for bossa nova stuff, and I felt like you tapped into that a bit in this like folky realm. You were able to take this like really fine finger picking and like beautiful songwriting with wild chord structures, and I felt like you had this bossa nova vibe to you. And this song to me, I don't know. There's something very Astrid Gilberto about you.
Oh.
Has anyone ever told you that?
Oh my gosh, I wish they had.
Ah, please.
I'd ask them to move in with me.
Look, I know your husband's not here tonight, and it's probably a good thing. I like the guy a lot, so I don't want any dirty looks from him
Yeah.
because it would really hurt my soul.
Yeah, okay, I will play that song. I think that song was recorded on a cell phone in my house.
Okay, it
Yeah.
had a quality about it. How much of that album did you record with Mike Kerr?
Just one song. It was
Okay.
the first song we recorded, and it's now the last song on the record. And we recorded, we're going to talk about a different song now, but
That's okay, please.
we recorded that song the morning after my very first solo show of my life, which is a bit of that kind of jumping the gun.
No, were you still buzzing though? Did you go into it like, I got this? I did it last night. I got
Yeah,
this.
it was the first day of 2018 we started working on that record with our beloved Mike Kerr. So yeah, super fun. Came out in 2019.
Wow.
And yeah, this song, if you listen to the recording of this song, you can hear a dog bark once, and it was not supposed to be there, but got left in accidentally.
That's my favorite thing in recordings is
Yeah.
the weird. That's the magic of it all.
It
Beautiful.
is. Yeah.
It's
So
this
Gideon the
recording
dog.
struck me just as much as when you do it live. So please,
Okay,
please,
we'll give it a
please
go.
play it for me.
Sure. White picket fence, 3 kids, 2 dogs, 1 car, sitting in the yard. Long days of working hard. We pay off our credit cards, and nobody asks me why you're never home at dinner time, or why I buy so much wine. They know that we're doing fine. I don't have to wear my shades on rainy days to hide that I've been crying. No dirty laundry on our line, just flowers and a welcome sign. And down at the grocery store, I don't have to ignore the talk wherever I go. I can look them in the eye, 'cause everybody knows. Driving to hockey practice and keeping our act up for the kids. Do all the things we always did before everything hit the skid. I think it's great that you can stay out late with your high school friends. I don't count the nights you spend running around and playing pretend. And when you don't hurry home, I don't worry over things like one-night stands. I know that you're a real good man, and that you are in good hands. The neighborhood grapevine's buzzing, and even her husband, as the story goes. You might as well face it tonight, 'cause everybody knows. And when you don't hurry home, I don't worry over things like one-night stands. I know that you're a real good man, and that you are in good hands. But if the door is locked and outside there are boxes of your books and clothes, You can ask anybody why, 'cause everybody knows. And the light's on at her place tonight, and everybody knows. Oh, thank you.
I hate the fact that we made jokes about your husband not being here, and then I requested that song. It's just
Okay, so
tasteless.
that is why the first record I made was called Other People's Lives, because nearly every
you had to
song,
square it up, eh? Yeah.
nearly every song was about some kind of heartache, heartbreaky situation, because country music is like that, and that's what I was listening to.
Yeah. But people were worried about you, weren't they?
Oh, well, I tried to avoid it, but absolutely, yeah, I tried to set the record straight right out of the gate. It didn't work.
You were good about it, though. It shows. The first couple times I saw you, you would play that song and you would say, "Everybody, my husband is here, just so everyone knows. We're
Yes.
happily married."
Yeah,
And he would
yeah.
put his hand up and smile, and everyone knew. And he's charming.
Oh,
So-
yes. I mean, I don't think anyone would have thought it was his fault if things had gone
Exactly.
south, but yeah.
They were. I know there was a couple people in the room though who looked at him afterwards and were like, "I'm going to take him out."
Oh, I know. Anyway, poor Andrew. Just to clarify, we'll put it on record now. He is a saint upon the earth,
He is.
and I wouldn't be here playing these awful, heartbreaky songs were it not for him. And that's not what I mean to
True.
say
There's
either.
stability to lean off of that and explore the ridiculousness of it all. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're
Great.
not in a bad place.
We're fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're great.
Whew,
Yeah,
woo.
yeah.
Good, because that was gonna make the next hour really awkward.
Now what are we going to talk about?
Yeah. No, you've definitely actually sure.
We,
Look, been there, done that. Bear River,
Okay,
Digby,
been there, done that. Just saying. We have an audience question for the listeners who are gonna listen to this after the fact.
Yeah.
We had an audience question. So far, it was been there, done that.
Yeah.
From Bear River.
yeah.
I mean, it happens all over.
Oh yes. Okay.
People
okay.
have-
So she's acknowledging.
Okay.
Right.
I see.
Right, okay.
Other people's lives. We have a testimonial
Yes.
from the crowd.
Well,
Yes.
that album resonated. Like
Yeah.
I could see people. You'd play a show, and then people would be like, "I'll take 6 copies of the album."
Yeah, I definitely did hear from people. And people who said, I can relate to this. I really feel for you. We've really connected. And then I had to be like, these songs are not actually about me. They're just
Right.
kind of made up songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you got something out of it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a counselor either, so that's a
Right.
tough role. As a musician, I
Yeah.
once saw a great musician, Valmy, actually play a set, and right afterwards, someone did come up to her,
Sure.
and they were crying. And
Right.
it was very emotional, and Valmy is so beautiful, and she has that power in her songs as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was the first time I saw a musician, I felt bad for them after the show because they got put in a position where they were sort of a sounding board for what this
Right.
person had been through.
Right.
And it's beautiful. It's like a beautiful moment that they want to share. But after 4 people do that, it's watching the musician is kind of like watching somebody just like get all the life sucked out of them, and they're in a corner behind the stage, sort of like, whew. I mean, Valmy was really gracious about it, but if I was in that position, I'd be dead.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I've spent a lot longer in those seats in front of me than this one. You know, I've been a fan of music and a lover of music, and I know that experience of feeling like you know a songwriter inside and out because you've listened to their songs.
Yeah.
So I get that part of the equation, and I am really grateful for the folks, you know, for whom this music means anything at all. Just the fact with the thousands of songs that come out in the world every single day, for people to choose to spend their time listening to these ones is incredible to me,
Yeah.
like, unbelievable. So I am grateful for it, and yeah, I guess it can be a bit taxing at times, but it's, you know, it's a short moment,
Yeah.
and I'm just grateful for the people who have tuned in.
Oh
over
my
these past
God.
couple
And
of
you meant
years.
so much to them for that moment in time too, and forever afterwards when they own the records. So go buy Terra's records because you'll get the same feelings, I promise. And you're on your third record now?
Just finished third record with Ben Kaplan. Yeah, just came out in the fall.
Yeah, go ahead and clap for that, guys. It's amazing. It's such a cool record too.
Oh, what a project that was. Yeah, it was tremendous fun and led to a wild year, really, touring with him and in Canada and the UK and
You're not
Ben
tired
as
of
a
driving?
character. Pardon?
You're not tired of driving?
No. Ben doesn't like to let other people drive. I
He
can
does
tell
all
you
the
that much.
driving?
There was one day there was one day in the prairies he finally decided that it was time to let me drive the huge van. He
Yeah.
drives a big van around. And I said, okay, Ben, you go have a rest, have a nap in the back. I've got this. We're in the prairies. I felt like a
Flat.
trucker. I had the hat, everything going on. And there was one point, I'd been cruising along for maybe 2 hours, and I thought, you know what? I should just check in, just to double check that we're on the right track. I've been driving in a straight line, and I glanced at the Google map and realized I was like 300 meters away from the one key intersection where I had to make a right turn. And it only was by chance that I looked at that map at that one time, or we would have been, I don't know, the Yukon. I don't know where we were.
Right. There's like, I feel like you could only make one mistake on the straight road.
Yeah. And
were-
I
you were
was
going-
leaning into it hard. So, yeah, I saved myself in the one crucial moment.
Did you tell everybody afterwards, or did they see you panic?
Everybody but Ben.
Because you wanted to drive again?
Oh, yeah.
You want to drive the Sprinter? You want to feel the trucker life?
Absolutely. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't have a reputation. I mean, my record's pretty clean, but like I don't have a reputation as being an excellent driver. If you ask other tour partners that
I won't.
I've traveled with.
I will never ask anybody,
Yeah.
hey, is Terra a good driver?
Yeah.
Except I'll ask you tonight.
Am I
you
a
say
good
no.
driver?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be average. That's the way it is. Everybody thinks they're a great driver. So somebody has to level it out, and I'm happy to hold down the middle, you know?
Yeah, other people's drives. That could
Other-
be your next album. No, that's sweet that he does all the driving though. Like, wow, way to go on tour and just get to like, well, sure, I'll put my feet up in the back of this wicked van and
Yeah, well,
Have
you
some
know,
cookouts?
you probably know people who are like this, who even if you had them in the passenger seat and gave them a break, they're not having a break. They're just watching what you're doing and being
Yeah.
on edge the entire time. So they feel they might as well be driving.
do they do this where they lean back and their left eye kind of, you can feel it on the speedometer and you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
stop, I'm going the speed limit.
Yeah, totally. And like holding on to the little handle on the door.
yeah.
Oh,
Is that
what a
like
demeaning
the
move.
ultimate passive aggressive move in a car?
It is when I do it.
Oh, you do it intentionally? Oh,
Sometimes.
you do it so everyone can see you? You go,
Yeah. Listen, my son just got his driver's license earlier today.
oh, congratulations, and
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know. So both of our kids are now licensed drivers.
Mm-hmm.
So now the celebration and the real worry begins.
In winter, too. Oh, my God,
Yeah.
he got his license in winter.
Yeah, yep.
I mean, he's a thin dude. He doesn't seem like he'd have a heavy foot.
He's a thin dude.
Yeah, I wanted to say he's like a little dude, but I felt like that was offensive for your son.
No, it
so,
means he has like a high center of gravity. That's even worse.
So you think he's going to be heavy-footed? Wasn't he a cadet?
Yes, is still
So
a
doesn't
cadet.
he immediately have that cadet's respect for a gas
That
pedal?
means he wants to drive a jet, but on the road.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we need a separate driving school for cadets. Well, I mean, the winter's definitely the worst time for him to get his license. I'm so sorry. I can hear my neighbors' kids just like skidding out on a straight road.
Have you ever gone off the road in the winter?
No, not badly. Just
really?
very like, okay, let's keep going.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Have
I
you?
had a spin out across the lane of traffic and went into the ditch on the other side.
On the other side?
Yeah, and my daughter and her boyfriend were in the car with me while I was driving. And apparently, my daughter says the entire time that we were like spiraling across the lane, heading into the ditch on the other side, I was just saying, "It's fine, it's fine, it's fine."
That calmly?
Yeah, which is troubling, I think. You know.
Please tell me that she was grabbing the oh shit handle.
Oh, I'm sure she had everything going, trying to fish the airbag out prematurely. I don't know, like
Kicking it.
Yeah,
Please, Mom.
yeah.
Wow, that's
yeah.
pretty
It's
scary though.
fine.
That was so it was traumatizing.
For them, yeah, I guess.
But
yeah,
your son
it was.
wasn't in the car at the time.
No, it was my daughter and her boyfriend at the time.
Right, so
And
he's got
they have a much clearer memory of the whole event.
he's got a dangerously clear conscience of driving in the winter then, eh?
Yeah. He has one spin-free card.
I gotta say, teenagers in Nova Scotia are ruthless. Like, I grew up in Ontario, and you
Yeah.
always hear about people like going 200 on the 401, which is
Right.
adults go 200 on the 401. And like everybody's going 200 on the 401.
Yeah.
But out here, teenagers get pretty ruthless and go crazy fast on some
Yeah.
twisty roads.
The Honda Civics.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah.
What's that sound?
But
Is that an engine sound?
that's what Honda Civics sound like in Windsor, Nova Scotia. Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me what a Suzuki sounds like in Windsor.
A Suzuki.
Do all cars sound different in Windsor?
A Suzuki car.
Yeah, there's a Suzuki, like an SUV.
Are those in Berwick, Nova Scotia?
No, oh my God, no. We have like homemade cars here. There's amazing cars that drive down the road. If you've ever slept upstairs at the Union Street, sometimes at like 3, 4 in the morning, there's a drag race going on, like a professional drag race out of the street.
Homemade cars?
And they're like, yeah. They look like Hot
Yamasaki's?
Wheels. Yeah. I'm going to heckle you for another song.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, yeah, we have a guitar here. Oh, my God, that's
sure,
awesome.
sure. Yeah.
We're having a really good time. I'm having too much fun up here already. I've wanted to do this for a long time. So I'm definitely going to bother you to play all the songs that I think you haven't really recorded.
I noticed, I had a feeling that might come up.
I want all the cheeky songs.
Sure,
Every
Okay.
time I've seen you play live, I love your sets, and I'm always like, I want all the devious songs. So I'm going to ask for a really cheeky song right now. Is that okay?
That is okay. Yeah, I think, depending on which one.
Will you please play Hungry?
Oh, Zach.
I almost said Hangry because I wrote a song
Yeah,
called Hangry.
yeah,
But one
yeah.
day we talked about putting out
Oh, brother.
an A-side, B-side of Hangry
Yeah,
and Hungry.
it still could happen.
Still could-
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Do I need to say anything, or can I just launch into this song and get it over with?
Get it over with. Did I really request? Really? You don't have to play it if it's like going to ruin your reputation
I think
or something.
you were friendly about your heckling, so
I
yeah.
said please.
Yeah. This song. Oh, anyway, yeah. It is what it is.
This is the
Sorry,
ultimate-
Zach's request.
Ultimate metaphors.
The all that you can eat buffet was our first dinner date. My belly rumbled as I watched you clean your plate. We settled down and filled the freezer to the max. And late at night you would wake me up for another bedtime snack. I cook up steak and stew and you don't seem to care. Seems a decent piece of meat is medium to rare. Honey, you can break my heart with sugar, fat, and starch. We've traded in our golden rings for grease and golden arches. And you ain't hungry like you used to be. You let a good thing go to waste just because you changed your taste. And every Tuesday night I try to whet your appetite, but you ain't hungry like you used to be. Yeah. Rolling round the garden with your hands around a hoe. You've been planting carrots in another farmer's row. You're picking berries in our next door neighbor's patch. The juices are running down your chin and you can't hide the scratches. And you ain't hungry like you used to be. You go to work and I have a hunch that you ain't packed a lunch. And every Sunday night I try to whet your appetite, but you ain't hungry like you used to be. A little snack is what you call it, with a ketchup pack inside your wallet. You try to hide your drive-through treat, but I found the wrappers in your backseat. I stay home to cook and clean while you're blowing kisses at the Dairy Queen. Sticky fingers and lion eyes, you can sleep outside with your side of fries. Yeah, you ain't hungry like you used to be. And in my heart, there ain't no doubt that you've been eating out. Go get some groceries and bring that big old sack on home to me. We'll get hungry like you used to be. No more wasting time watching our waistlines, 'cause it's taste test time. Yeah, we'll get hungry like we used to be. Yeah, we'll get hungry like we used to be. Wow. Some terrific canned laughter going on there.
Thank you so much. Oh, God.
Okay.
I love the live aspect of the show. Makes it so much more fascinating. It's like just as much an experiment for us as it is them.
Yeah.
That was fantastic, Tara. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
That's
yeah,
the best.
very proud of that song. Thank you very much.
It just keeps going. Like the the false ending moments of like, oh no, there's another section coming on full of raw metaphors. Thank you.
So, the first songs that I wrote were just purely songs for a laugh, and I was playing with a musician named Ryan Cook, who is no stranger to Union Street, and he has a great sense of humor and really irreverent songs that all have that kind of bounce, that fingerpick sort of bounce. So I think that just naturally pervaded whatever I was doing. It's kind of like a Travis picking sort of thing.
You could say anything you want over that.
Right. Yes.
People
Yeah, you can have a chat. Yeah.
My shoulders are bouncing.
Yeah.
I'm happy about whatever you're going to say.
Right.
The world is ending? I can't wait. Oh,
Yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to do is blame someone else for that song in particular. My family, like I have children now, teenage children, and when they hear that song start, they just hang their heads like, why, Mom? Why? So anyway.
When they're at the gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. I mean, at least you don't show up to their school and play it in the hallways or anything.
True. True.
I guess I would get kicked out of the school, too.
Yeah.
See, I'm not a parent. I don't know how these things work. I didn't know that was inappropriate until I said it.
Right. Some people think that song is dirty.
I think it's pretty honest. I think. I mean, those are all things that happen scientifically.
True.
I do stash all of the wrappers for my fast food in the back seat.
Yeah.
under the passenger side.
Oh, wow. Did that song touch you? Was that moving?
Oh, yeah. I would say it whet my appetite.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Oh, great. Great.
Did I go too far? Is that
You
going
did have a side of fries right before the show.
That's
I
true.
did see that much.
That's
yeah.
true.
Yep. Okay.
You weren't supposed to tell anyone that. That's like my fetish before the show is fries.
That's the one thing I wasn't supposed to tell anyone
Yeah.
during this.
Nobody has to know about the fries before the show.
You didn't tell me you could rule things out.
Yeah, for me, right. I
Right.
said you could. I can't.
Right.
No, I mean, if you have any bones to pick with me, now's the time.
Oh, well. Now that you brought it up.
Airing
So-
of grievances. Happy Festivus. Let's do this.
So I need to address a few things. Because I've been an avid listener
Mm-hmm.
of this podcast, I flagged a couple of things along the way. This is episode 6.
Yeah, and I've made several enemies already, so let's do
Yeah,
this.
yeah. So one thing, I felt bad, and I'm not going to say who your guest was, but there was a point when you called out people who use iPads on stage.
I knew you were going to bring that up. Okay. All right. Yeah.
And here's the thing.
Okay.
So I had some real baggage about trying to sing songs without having lyrics in front of me. It held me up for a long, long time because my granddad, who I love and who was hugely influential to me, is, one of the reasons I play guitar and a great performer, but he would rag on people who used a songbook or anything, an iPad or something like that.
Wow.
But my granddad was a lead guitar player who only knew at best 2 lines out of any given song
Yeah.
and would
yeah.
repeat them over and over if he ever had to sing, which was very rare. So I didn't feel it was his place to call out folks for using a little bit of a reference when they had to sing.
Right.
And I wrote a lot of songs really quickly in the first couple of years that I started writing. So by the time I came to play my first solo show, I was terrified that I wouldn't be able to sing any of the songs. So I had like a book full of songs
Yeah.
with me. I had 30 songs on a set list for a 2-hour show. I didn't realize.
I'm not going
So
after
many-
people playing their first show, Tara.
Oh, their second show? They ought to be
second
off
show.
book then. So
Yeah.
anyhow.
Yeah, okay, I have a sliding scale. If you want to get into semantics, I'll fully explain. But no, I'm not going after you for playing your first and second shows with an iPad.
Well, I'm just here to speak up for people because whatever tools you need to
Yeah.
perform on stage, it's a big deal. And I'm very proud of people who get up and play
For sure.
and perform.
For sure.
You know?
Okay. All right. For sure. You need tools, that's okay. Even Bruce Springsteen needs a teleprompter, and those are $5,000 tickets, so
Wow.
it's worth it.
5,000. I don't know that.
No, I don't know either. That's I'm totally saying that sarcastically.
Yeah.
If you don't know me by now, that's
Yeah.
sarcasm.
Anyhow.
But no, of course I'm not going after people for needing an iPad or people who like literally cannot remember enough songs so
Yeah.
they need the iPad in front of them. No, or open mics. I'm
Sure.
not going after iPads at open mics.
Okay,
I
what are
got
you
a really
going
angry
after?
email about that. And
Did you?
And I appreciate it because like if you're showing up at an open mic and you want to participate in music, go
Yeah.
ahead and use it, of course.
Okay.
But if you're showing up and getting paid $500 for the gig,
right.
memorize the 12 songs, friend.
So the folks at home can't see my teleprompter.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We have one of those like fancy, like politicians all use these teleprompters that you can't read from the other side, right?
Oh. So if you
what
see
is
someone
that?
play a gig and they have really thick sunglasses on, that might be what's going on behind the
Oh,
sunglasses.
yeah. The altered reality thing.
Yeah.
Ryan and I were talking about that too. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
That's okay. If I can't tell, I'm not going to bother you about it. But if I could tell
Okay.
you're phoning it in, I'm going to call you out on it.
Okay, doubling down on that.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
let's
Let's
see.
double down.
Anyhow,
Why not?
I'll just put it out there that if anyone in the crowd or listening at home is a musician and you need to have some words in front of you, you're never going to hear any flack from me.
No, of
but
course
you might
not.
from Zach Miller.
No, well,
So,
okay. Use the
Yeah.
iPads to learn Terra songs, and write out Terra songs.
I have an
chord
iPad
them.
full of them I can lend to you.
Boom, boom. Use the iPad for Terra songs. You know what? No, I'm going to double down. I'm going to double down on it. Yeah.
Okay. You're doubling down.
iPads suck. Get them off the stage. Phones? Have you seen the phone thing? There's a mic stand, and it has a
Yeah.
little spot for
Yeah.
a phone.
For a
That's
phone.
too far.
Oh,
That is
wow.
too far.
Oh, I don't know.
Guys,
Yeah. Okay.
why do I feel like I'm the crazy one? You guys are crazy.
Wow. Okay.
It's okay to have a difference of opinions on iPads on stage. It's
Sure
a
it
very
is.
new technology.
Sure it is. And I just came here tonight to share my difference in opinion. Okay, that's
Was that
fine.
the
We
only-
can move on.
Was
That's
that the
fine.
only bone?
Let's pace ourselves.
Okay,
I'm gonna
right,
let
right,
you.
yeah. Let's,
I'm gonna let you pick the next bone, friendly heckler.
Do you want to pick a song?
Oh yeah, I can pick a song. Okay, I'll change the tone a little bit. So I have another chapter of life that people have liked to talk to me about over the past couple of years because I worked as a funeral director. And
It's funny. I almost didn't want to go there because I felt like you've talked so much about it.
well, you know what? It was a really significant part of life for me. And I actually have more people come up and talk to me about death. We've already done it at shows than they ever did at the funeral home because I think it feels like a safe space. But I haven't written a lot of songs about that experience because I didn't want to seem like I was mining it for songwriting material. That would be really, really uncouth, really tacky. But on this record that I just made, there's one song that is specifically about that experience. So I thought it would be nice just to put that out there and sum that up because it has meant a lot. Like it gives you a real perspective working in that capacity. Our friend Sarah McGinnis is here, who is doing incredible legacy song work.
Absolutely.
Who
Go
was
listen to her episode.
Yeah,
It's
guest of the
lovely.
podcast. It's incredible. And I just think it's great to open up those conversations anytime you can because it is such a part of life, actually. And I want people to feel freer and less intimidated by
You
that
guys have done whole
conversation.
workshops about it, right?
We have, yeah. Sarah and one of the hosts of one of those workshops is here tonight. And it was such a privilege to get to see Sarah in action. I'm so proud of the amazing work that she is doing. So, yeah, this is one wee little tune from that new record, and it's called At Your Service. In the hard gray chairs at the doctor's office, me and a man with a terrible cough. It's 11 a.m. The doctor is late, nothing there to do but wait. He handed me a wrinkly business card, told me of his young years working hard, small engine repair, tractors and mowers, back in the days when the world moved slower. He had loved every minute of the simple life, a lot less simple since he lost his wife. She had died last June, her lungs full of cancer. He took all the tests, he was waiting for answers. His hands were shaking, he looked so nervous as he handed me the card that said, "At your service." At the funeral home when the paperwork came, I remembered the card and I remember his name. The obituary short, no next of kin. We only had to print a few bulletins. For the half-dozen people that had gathered there, fanning themselves in their hard gray chairs, workers from the home where the old man lived, sympathy cards with nobody to give. The minister comforted in their loss, and everybody rose for the old rugged cross. We carried him down to where the grass was mown, his wife and his son's names carved in stone. As we covered the grave with the shovel of dirt, I remembered the card with the words, "At your service."
Is that a hard song to get through for you?
You know, for me, like there are songs, there is like a little movie that plays along in my head, you know, remembering the moments that inspired these songs. And so, I have to remember that the song is for you and not get too wrapped up in the in the little movie that goes along with it.
Absolutely.
You know, the images that go. So
That's a great movie you wrote there.
yeah, thanks.
Beautiful. It's heavy. I mean, you've got to be one of the only singers I can ever hear sing the words lungs full of cancer and be okay with it, you know? It's like you do a great job of telling a story like that no matter how fucking dark it is. So thank you.
Thanks, Zach. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
thank you. There was an audience. Thank you. Absolutely.
Thanks.
Man, how long were you a funeral director?
So I'd worked for the funeral home for a long time. I got hired there as the organist. That was my intro.
Safe
ages
intro.
ago.
I'm glad you said organist and not organist.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, thank you all
Sorry.
for providing that reaction so I didn't have to. Yeah. I was the organist and then started doing some work in the office, but officially became a funeral director in 2015. I got my license. I've worked a year, 2014, 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you officially moving on from that part of your life? Can I ask you that, or is
it's
it still?
hard to say that, you know.
I mean, you'll always
still-
have a foot in it, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Easy.
Hey, I didn't say whether the foot was attached or not. Relax, guys. Jeez.
Oh, no.
You're the freaks, okay? You're the
yeah.
freaks with your iPads and your 7-foots. Just kidding.
I still have close ties, we'll
Okay.
say, with the funeral home. I still am licensed and everything, but music has very unexpectedly taken up way more time and become a much bigger part of my life than I ever would have anticipated. So
Yeah, well, because I've heard you talk about, like, writing obituaries while getting on a plane or something at the same time, or filing the obituaries with papers and stuff. That's
Yeah, that's
wild.
true.
That's wild. Like, to have your brain in 2 different places like that, let alone raise a family on the side, kudos, dude.
yeah, on the side, yeah.
I don't know how families work. I wasn't really,
Yeah,
we weren't really
no,
nuclear.
no.
so.
It made for a strange.
You can just say whatever you
Yeah,
want. We'll just
it made for a strange situation a lot of times when I first started playing shows and was still working heavily at the funeral home, because I would meet people out and about, like at the grocery store, and not be sure which place I recognize them from, which is 2 very different environments, you know? Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, we had such a great talk. That was my brother's funeral.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, but we had a good talk.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I tend to be very cautious when meeting people again.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Just which context they're from.
You must feel like you're just meeting 1,000 people. Like, you've done a lot of interviews lately. Actually, now that you're doing another interview, what's something that you feel like nobody's really asked you about that you're like, what? How have they not gone there?
Oh, you say as you take a big drink.
It's that kind of show.
Something people have not asked me about. Oh, my word.
Because interviews can feel kind of canned sometimes, so I just wondered if there was anything that you're
Yeah.
like,
Well, try me, Zach. I'm going to turn the hot seat back to you. Try me.
do you like marmalade?
Marmalade. I don't have a taste for bitter things.
You're a sweet tooth.
I really, truly am. Like, I don't even drink coffee. That's grown up
Whoa,
tasting.
really? Not even
Yeah.
double? You won't go there?
I mean, if it's, yeah, I guess if it went that far, I can choke it down. But yeah.
Okay, if you're on the road a lot, I want to know, like, what road food will you just not eat? What's
Sushi.
Like, well, what? Like even like grocery store sushi? You know?
None of it. It's the worst, honestly. And I feel bad
Well-
even saying that now, because I've definitely gone out with musicians when it's like our dinner before the show, and everyone is so excited to go out for sushi. And
I mean, we're in Winnipeg. It's the sushi capital of the world. How is How is that a thing before a show?
I actually don't eat seafood at all.
You don't?
No.
And you grew up by the
I
shore.
know. So I guess that's one thing that I try and kind of keep on the down low. I don't pretend I
Okay.
have an allergy, but I definitely have an aversion.
I can't
Oy.
imagine you on like a CTV Atlantic interview and they're like, now, Tara, what kind of seafood is your favorite?
I know, but it comes up because people know I'm from Nova Scotia. So everywhere they assume you're going to be bringing a crate of lobster with you when you get off the plane. And
Are they
that's-
making you fish cakes for breakfast when you're staying somewhere and you're like,
all of that. Yeah. Or
See, that's why I thought I'll never be a true maritimer because I can't like wake up and be like, those fish cakes smell amazing even though I just drank all night. Oh, wow. Like, but
Yeah.
you're making me feel like I might get there someday.
yeah. No, I love dulse. Do you know about dulse?
Oh, yeah. Explain
Oh.
explain for the listener who may be in Ireland or Dominican Republic, because we have listeners in those
Oh,
places.
holla. Hello.
Hello. Book Terra Spencer right now. But explain to the listener what dulse is.
Okay. Generally speaking, I'm not going to get too technical, but dulse is seaweed harvested from salt waters and dehydrated, dried out, sometimes just in the sun, so that it just becomes this very tough, leathery, purple, very salty, almost edible item.
Yeah.
And it is sold in small packages as a treat. A treat, we'll say.
Yeah, it's sort of like
Does
the-
it have iodine in it? Is that one of the things people eat?
Why
Natural
would it have
iodine.
iodine in it? Just to sanitize it? Seaweed has iodine in it naturally? Oh, thank God there's an audience here. Otherwise, I'd have to Google all this. Woo! Yeah. Okay, so, but you don't like seafood, but dulse is on the
don't.
menu for you. That's weird.
Oh yeah, I'd go for some dulse.
But, so that's like the saltiest you'll get is dulse.
Oh, I
Otherwise-
can go saltier. Do you know about salt licorice?
No.
Oh, that might be
It's
the
not-
saltiest thing
You
you
don't
can
just mean
safely
like a
eat.
salt lick? Because I always threaten my wife who loves salt that I'm just gonna buy her a salt lick for Christmas, hammer it into the side of the house, and say like, "Honey, you need some salt."
Salt licorice is a Dutch treat. My mother-in-law is Dutch, and she introduced me to it. So it's like little bits of hard black licorice, but it is intensely salty, and it is not for everyone.
Does it have like chunks of salt on it, or is it salt? is
No, it's just
mixed
it's
into
black
this?
licorice, but it looks almost white because there's so much salt.
Wow.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is a weird snack. Why do the Dutch have the strangest snacks? They have like super salty licorice, but then they also put chocolate on buttered toast.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense at
Wow.
all. And there is a saying that my mother-in-law would say, because she also enjoyed like very bitter, good for you kind of foods.
I love that
and there
you're
is-
wincing while you're saying that.
Yeah. And there is a saying that goes, bitter in the mouth, da 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 da. And I cannot for the life of me, she only said it once and I cannot remember what the second half of it is, but it must be something like,
Bitter in the mouth, sweet in the face.
cause,
it?
maybe.
I don't know. That sounds very
Maybe.
Dutch.
Yeah,
They also
it
say
does.
if you ain't Dutch, you ain't much.
Healthy in the heart, maybe something like that. I don't know. Sturdy on the bike. I don't know.
Sturdy
but-
in the behind.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why the Dutch are suddenly pirates.
Yeah.
My mind. Sturdy in the behind.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah. so-
If you had to eat like one type of food for the rest of your life, like obviously it wouldn't be Japanese because you don't like sushi. But if you had to like,
one type of food?
yeah,
Oh gosh.
like one culture's food.
Right. I love Indian food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm really into it.
Have you been to
but
Chris Maria here in the valley?
yes, I have.
Good Indian food.
It
I gotta
is
put
good
out there.
Indian food. Free advertising. Yeah.
You know what? I don't do a lot of free advertising, especially because I don't have any sponsors. So
Right.
if you're a sponsor, please,
Yeah.
please call me. But Chris Maria, yeah, shout out to good
Yeah.
restaurants doing Indian food in the valley. Yes.
Now, I have toured with people who eat insanely hot food, like it's a champion sport. Like they will order the hottest thing on a menu and then without tasting it, put hot sauce on top of it. That is ridiculous.
That's a power move.
It is, I guess, a power move, but it also doesn't look very powerful when your nose is dripping onto the table and you're crying from your meal. Like,
Is this before the
know, sir.
set too? Is this like, let's go out for a meal? Let me eat all my hot sauce before I get up on
it's
stage.
like every meal for particular people that I have been on tour with who also don't like to let the other person drive. Let's
Right. Said person may have a glutton for punishment.
Yeah, I
Of
don't know what it
sorts.
is. So, yeah, I don't see how that's pleasing. There can't be any flavor left at that point. But
I feel like their body is just going to be so angry at them all the time. But if they're
Yeah.
generally healthy, maybe the hot sauce is a good thing. It's
If
like
it is
it's a
that
sauna
bad-
in your mouth.
well, this is it. And that person is also extremely fond of saunas. But if it's that
Oh.
bad going into your mouth,
Yeah.
what does the future hold for you when it's time
Adding-
to exit? Like, yeah.
Exactly. Adding the extra hot sauces turns it into like one of those saunas where they beat you with huge leaves.
Right.
Like, oh, this is so relaxing. Oh, gross. Well,
Yeah, okay. Good. On that note.
yeah. Do you want to play me another song?
Oh, well, you know what? We'll pretend that's a great segue into this next song, which is on this album with Ben, but not inspired by Traveling with Ben Kaplan. But it's a song about the darker days of tour life, I guess, which I haven't really experienced. I've had it really good. I've just had really fun experiences. But there are occasional times where it seems very bizarre to be hauling yourself around the country, playing songs you wrote with your dogs. And I have toured with people for whom the novelty has worn off a little bit, and they
Right.
maybe aren't as wandering around like toddlers, romanced by everything they're experiencing.
That must be refreshing for the person you're touring with, though, to have somebody who is romanced by it.
Oh, yeah, not at all annoying, I'm sure. Like,
Not for the first 2 days.
so yeah, this is a song called The Circus. Cotton candy, sticky fingers, fryer grease, and smoke that lingers in my wig, and costume clothes, a nightmare paint, a bright red nose, a tiny town, the pouring rain. The monkeys pick fleas from the mane of a lion who had lost his fight to noise and heat and firelight. And in the ring, I am a clown. We bring the circus into town and tumble around like acrobats for ticket stubs and coins in hats. Where are the crowds? They skip the show to listen to the radio. No, they don't bother coming down when the circus comes to town. The chorus girls, they twirl and dance, the frayed lace of their underpants. I made myself some grander plans, swallowed swords and sleights of hand. A magic man cuts me in half to oohs and ahs and doubtful laughs. And every morning crack of dawn, the wheels turn and we move on. And in the ring, I am a clown. We bring the circus into town and tumble round like acrobats for ticket stubs and coins in hats. Where are the crowds? They skip the show to listen to the radio. No, they don't bother coming down when the circus comes to town. At noon I'll share my sandwiches with elephants and ostriches and think about my precious kids packing their own school lunches. I daydream of a different tent, the summer evenings that we spent at Whistler's Beach, laid side by side, the nylon walls, the roaring tide, and in the ring I am a clown. We bring the circus into town, we tumble round like acrobats for ticket stubs and coins in hats. Where are the crowds? They skip the show to listen to the radio. No, they don't bother coming down when the circus comes to. No, they don't bother coming down when the circus comes to town.
Cool song. Very cool song. Do you sing that one, or does Ben sing that one on the new one?
I sing that one and
sing
play
that
it
one.
on the piano usually, but
Oh,
we'll fake it
it's
tonight.
such a cool song, Tara. It's
Hey,
crazy.
thanks.
Have you ever seen The Greatest Show on Earth, the movie with Charlton Heston?
No.
Oh, man. Please go home and waste 3 hours watching that terrible movie.
Gosh,
But
okay.
it's got a lot of circus to it. That's why I asked.
Okay, yeah.
It should be the new theme song. It would be a much more enjoyable movie if it had that song on it.
Oh, thank you.
Anyway, what a cool friggin' song to put on
Thanks.
that record. That whole record sounds so beautiful, by the way. Like what you guys did with it, it feels very Nilsson Plays Newman to me. Have you ever listened to that
Oh
record?
my word! Could there be a higher compliment? I
It is-
love Harry Nilsson, but I love Randy Newman.
Oh, you guys nailed that vibe. It is so
Oh,
that vibe. It really
thank
feels
you.
like the two of you just woodshedding songs and
Yeah.
really experimenting with them and taking them so
Hey.
much further than just
Yeah.
guitar or piano arrangements. Great job.
Thanks, thank you. Yeah,
Sounds amazing.
it was a really fun. Ben wanted to produce someone else's songs. He hadn't done that before, and the whole project came about in such like an accidental way. Most of the best things that have happened to me have been by accident.
Because
Yeah.
did you just send a cold email kind of thing? Just, hey, I got a song.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, just one song. That was the starting point.
Which song did you send him, if you don't mind me asking?
It's a song called VHS.
Oh, that's a heavy song.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And yeah, that was the song. And I didn't really know Ben. I'd met him once, I think at Full Circle Festival, but he wouldn't have remembered that. So yeah, there's something about, there's a lot about his voice. It brings a lot to the table. Has a lot of
Sorry,
grit.
did you write that song with him in mind?
No, but I think I was just daydreaming about who would be my first pick, and went for it. But it turned out that he was home, which is rare, because we were still in lockdowns in Nova Scotia at the
right.
time. So, yeah, he had me over to his place in Halifax for a cup of tea and a little hang.
Tried it out.
And it was such a lovely time, and I thought that was kind of it. And then he asked me, I wrote to him and said thank you, and he got back and said, "Why don't we make a whole record?"
That's your Ben impression?
Yeah, that's a very lightweight Ben impression. I'd have to really steel myself to do it properly.
I can't
Yeah.
wait to hear it in a year. It's going to be perfected.
Yeah, it's very close to Cookie Monster. So
That's the greatest compliment you can give any
Yeah,
singer, actually.
sure,
is,
sure.
You sound a little Cookie Monster-ish.
yeah.
You used to get a lot of, or you used to get compared to Judee Sill, right?
I wish. Judee Sill.
How did you come about doing those shows then?
Okay, so Judee Sill probably is someone that not a lot of people have heard of. She was a singer-songwriter in the 1970s who died at a young age of a drug problem, which was not all that uncommon back then. But when I first started writing songs, I would make a quick little video and post it up on Facebook before the songs were even really finished. And a friend of mine from Halifax commented on one and said, "Oh, this one sounds like Judee Sill." And that was a name I hadn't heard before. So I looked up her music on the internet and just fell into this wormhole all day of listening to her music and reading about her. She had a very complicated and unusual life.
Do you remember what the first song that hit you was?
Yeah, it was called The Kiss.
Oh, yeah.
And I would recommend that people pause this podcast and go listen to that song because it's just stunning. She has a very unusual voice, but these fantastic choral arrangements, and her lyrics are very spiritual with a Christian leaning, which is not the way I write songs at all.
Oh, we heard hangry.
Yeah. 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 And I just became fixated on this notion that she had just disappeared and died in a kind of lonely place. And because
Did she die before her third record, right?
Yeah, it was in progress. Like, she was really in the midst of it. So I felt that, she died before she hoped she would, and wanted to have a memorial show for her. So on the 40th anniversary of her death, I organized this tribute show in Halifax. Yeah. And a filmmaker caught wind of it in New York, who had been working for 8 years on a documentary of Judee Sill's life and times.
No
and
way. What are the
reached out
odds?
to me like 2 days before the show and asked if we could film little segments of it. And we struck up this great friendship. And so the documentary just got finished, and that's why I went to New York with my daughter Sarah, because we filmed these little snippets. They needed some visual footage because they had all of these recorded interviews from musicians who knew Judee at the time, Graham Nash and Linda Ronstadt and Jackson Brown. But they needed, because it's a documentary, they needed some visuals. So my daughter
Are you
Sarah,
kidding me? You play Judee Sill?
well, it's like my hands mostly. So you see like Judee Sill playing guitar, Judee Sill playing piano or upright bass, and those are my hands.
Sorry.
In the documentary.
Terra Spencer, funeral director, songwriter, and hand model? Are you fucking kidding me?
Hand model, yes.
That's crazy,
Yeah.
dude. Wow, that's amazing.
So,
Congrats.
yeah, I mean, she was a wildly great player, so I had to learn
cool
and make
songs.
up, this is how I think this song's supposed to be played. So
Right.
it looked it looked right on screen. But yeah, so the documentary's done, and we went for the premiere
Cool.
in New York. Super cool. Yeah, yeah. So
Cool.
Judee Sill is like an inspiration to me, even if I don't sound like her at all.
Because you had started writing, and then somebody said, you sound like this artist. So you checked her
Yeah.
out. Like, how?
Yeah.
So how much of an influence has she suddenly had on your work since?
I think one of the things I loved is that she just was kind of uncompromising. She didn't worry about trying to be mainstream. She wanted to be famous. She wanted to be the greatest songwriter of all time, and she would say so, which is pretty brazen. But that didn't mean she started writing songs that everyone would like. So, yeah, she kind of stuck to her guns and did her own thing. And
Is that how you're going to do this?
well, you know what? I started a lot later in this process than a lot of folks do, so I don't really have a lot of time to figure out how to please everybody.
so your initial foray into the music is fuck it. I'm here.
Maybe not in those words, but yeah.
Sorry, Terry,
yeah, kind of, I guess. I'm still, just kind of winging it along the way, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody keeps telling you like how amazing it is, how quickly you're moving through the industry in a way. But
So
how much you deserve it, though.
you have
not
brought up a dirty word, Zach, that
Industry?
yes, because
Is
I've
that
heard
another
you
bone you
talk
wanted
about
to
that
Is
a
it another
lot.
bone? Yeah, okay. It is
So-
a dirty word to me sometimes.
I know.
Yeah.
And the music business, capital B, is a strange one these days. It's strange to
Yeah.
enter into it at this time because it isn't even the way that I grew up. When you bought an album in my day, you really built a relationship with that record because you'd invested in it, for one. You'd spent your allowance and you brought it home. And even if you didn't love every single song on it, you got to know it as a whole album.
Yeah.
And I really miss that because songs are almost disposable. They're just here and gone now on streaming services. And I know it is a great way to discover music from around the world, but I kind of miss that time of scarcity where you were so excited to get your hands on a record for the first time because it's the only way you could hear it unless you caught something on the radio. And I loved that. I still love albums. I love songs that are put together for a reason, to tell a bigger
flow.
story with a
Yes.
theme. So yeah, I'm pretty old school in that regard. And I think this was supposed to be some kind of grievance about the industry is where we started. But anyhow, I have to,
But you're navigating it the way that you want to, and you're doing it your way in the sense that you're still putting out an album. You're not like sacrificing all of that and just putting out singles.
No, and overall, I'm just grateful for anything that lets me make music and play songs and spend time doing that, and grateful for people who show up, and have bought records and listened to this music.
Yes.
That means everything. We're, have hosted a show. It means the world, and I've been surprised and amazed at how many doors people have held open for me, and then you try and hold it open for the next person, because that's the Nova Scotian way.
Nice.
So,
That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah.
So I really respect that. That's beautiful.
So,
What was your first album?
my first album, we talked a little bit
covered
about
that, yeah.
my
Did you
first
just get
album.
here?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the party. First album was a few years ago. It's called Other People's Lives. Definitely look it up online and definitely download it. Buy 6 copies for all of your friends. And what I recommend doing actually is buying the new record too, Old News. We haven't even said the name of it, right?
Old News. That's right.
New record called Old News.
Yeah.
So cheeky of you.
Yeah. No, that's been a really fun project. I mean, we spent all year, we toured all year with that record, and then finally put it out properly in October. And I don't know, I'm the kind of person who really wants to start a new project when you're halfway through
Are
the
you working on
first
something
one.
else already?
Oh, formally?
You
no,
must have a
but-
book full of songs, though, sort of, that you're gradually sharing with the world.
I mean, I'd start another record today.
Nice. Do you
could,
find
yeah.
writing pretty fast for you? Like, do you kind of churn a song out and pick away at it, or do you churn something out and go like, "That's done, let's keep going"? Is it sort of exercise for you?
It's song by song. I'm completely undisciplined about it. A lot of people have a great practice where they get out of bed or they set aside and make themselves write for half an hour each day or something like that. And boy, I don't have that at all. Not yet. It's a good time for New Year's resolutions, I guess. But yeah.
Treadmill and songwriting at the same
Oh
time.
my gosh,
kinda
there's a
thing?
treadmill sale. Did you see that sign on the way into town? Did anyone spot that?
No way.
A couple of doors down, there's a treadmill sale.
What, at
What a shame
Wilson's?
the store was closed when I rolled into town.
Is it at Wilson's Furniture?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Another free
dang.
advertising.
I'm gonna get there before you do
Yeah.
tomorrow morning.
You'll have to run fast.
Well, I'll run on my 2 treadmills because I'll have 2 of them.
Yeah. So, undisciplined, obviously unfocused, as we've displayed here.
Yeah, we just like delved over 6 topics at once, but.
Yeah.
But I want to get back to the fact that you navigate this dirty industry thing really well. You've done a beautiful job of it. And where do you want to go with it? Do you want to like tour Europe once a year kind of thing? Where do you want to go?
I want to go to, I hate saying
Kansas.
goals out loud. That feels so vulnerable to do.
Put it out
but
in the universe because then it comes back to you.
I'd love to go to Australia.
Yes.
I'd really love to go there because I've seen a lot of my heroes go and heard about the love that people have for folk music and songwriters
Very
there.
cool scene there.
Yeah, and it's mostly English, which is helpful when you write songs with 1 million words in.
I thought you wrote a few Maori songs though, didn't you?
I translated them in advance.
Okay. Perfect. Then we'll book you in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So I guess that's a goal. Usually my goals are based around seeing certain kinds of animals.
Oh, so what?
Yeah.
You want to see all the tarantulas and all the deadly spiders and all the spiders?
Sure. Do you know that's how I went to Montreal for the first time? Is because I wanted to see penguins.
To Montreal?
to Montreal.
Sorry, I don't get the connection.
Yep. So they have penguins in the biodome in Montreal.
Why? Just in the biodome?
I don't think they're running loose in Montreal, Zach.
there's no humans? It's just the biodome? The biodome is run by penguins?
There's a penguin exhibit. They are contained. I didn't get to touch a penguin or hold a penguin, which is
sounds
my
like
real
P.T.
dream.
Barnum's circus
Yeah.
or something right now. This sounds really fucked up. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
you get really close to the penguins in the biodome.
Yeah, right up close through the glass. It was a great moment for me. But yeah, animals. And I know there's the ethics about zoos. You're not really supposed to go to zoos, but there are some animals I don't necessarily want to encounter in the wild.
But you went to a biodome. It's not a zoo.
No. Right.
Yeah, those were scientists. They weren't penguins. Those were scientists.
Sure. Is there an animal you'd really like to see that you haven't yet?
In
Anywhere?
real
the world?
life?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I've never swam with a dolphin, and I feel like other than the really weird stuff I've heard about them, like attacking people and sexually assaulting them, I would love to try
my
swimming with a
God.
dolphin.
So next song.
Sorry,
Next
what?
song.
What? I can't mention the dolphins even.
So dark. We weren't going to talk about canceled.
Will you play Jesus Tattoo then?
Oh, okay, sure. This is a song that I wrote shortly after moving to Windsor from the country, from Somerville, Hants County. And when I moved into town, it was a bold move, and people frowned upon it because when you're from the shore, capital S, moving into town is like a very scummy thing to do. And but I was delighted by some things when I got there, and one of them was door-to-door salesman. And I know we have some salesmen in the crowd tonight, so I'm going to send this song out to Joe, future country star and potential door-to-door salesman. As I opened the door, he said, "That's a nice dress." Fancy car in my yard, he was dressed to impress, with a crisp polo shirt in a cool shade of blue that brought out his eyes. Well, that might not be true, 'cause my own eyes were held by his Jesus tattoo. He was there to sell internet, high download speed. He said he could provide everything I would need. As we talked about all of the money I'd save, I stared at his arms where the Lord was engraved. Jesus, my Savior, Jesus, my friend, Jesus, the healer, Jesus, the sins. Jesus gives freely if you've paid your dues, to the salesman with Jesus tattoos. With free installation, a brand new receiver, technology almost made me a believer, but I am not blessed with a technical mind. My faith and my knowledge are equally blind. So with respect to your mission to share your good news, I am in no position to reasonably choose. And I can't say today if you win or you lose, but I sure like the looks of those Jesus tattoos. Jesus, my Savior, Jesus, my friend, Jesus, the healer, Jesus, the sins. Jesus gives freely and takes all our sins, by the marks on his hands, by the scars on his skin. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Seemed not to take the rejection too hard. He left me with a flyer and his business card that I read when he left, and I stepped back inside. I saw that his name was Peter, though he'd been denied. Door to door is a chore, no matter your business. Whether snake oil salesman or Jehovah's Witness, turn down all the time, it can give you the blues, like the fine shaded lines of a Jesus tattoo. Jesus my Savior, Jesus my friend, Jesus the healer, Jesus ascends, Jesus gives freely if you've paid your dues. Ask St. Peter what he'll do for you. Get your telephone and TV too, and he'll show you his Jesus tattoo. Do 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 do.
Thank you for playing on the songs that are going to get you canceled, Tara. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks, Zach.
I had
Not
to-
even the industry can save you.
Well, they don't listen to this. they don't want anything to do with this. No, I really appreciate you playing all these songs. I've seen you play a few times, and every time I'm blown away by your set because there's such arc. You do
thanks.
such a good job. You do this amazing thing I'd never seen anyone do, where you like tell a little bit about a story, and then you're like, "I'll get back to that later in the set." And I was like, "Oh, damn, that's good, Tara. I'm hooked. I'm in." But I just love that your set had songs like that in it, and then songs like Everybody Knows, and just like, yeah, cheeky songs and really heavy songs. Thank you for all you do.
Oh, listen, I wanted to remind you of a gig that we played together. That was one of the more unusual gigs I've ever played. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Is it Deep Roots?
No. It was in Windsor at an event, a former event in Windsor called the Pumpkin Regatta.
Yes.
I don't know
Yes.
if any of you are familiar with the Pumpkin Regatta, formerly held in Windsor, but on the waterfront, people would carve out giant pumpkins and attempt to paddle them across a body of water.
Amazing.
Zach and I were given a gig playing at the Pumpkin Regatta, except not really at it. We were in a boathouse overlooking the water,
Yeah.
and no one could see us, really.
They didn't even want to put us out on the deck,
No,
which
they
was
wanted-
looking out over the regatta. They were like, no,
Nope.
just stay inside.
Stay inside. We'll pipe the music out
And
onto the
live
water.
to air. Didn't it go to community radio at the same time?
live on community radio. So there was Zach and myself.
Which I was like, guys, are you sure? Do you
Yeah.
know my act?
Yeah,
Do you
I
want
know.
to put me on community
Do
radio?
you know mine?
Yeah.
And the town crier was there. So it was Zach and I and the town crier up in the attic of a boathouse.
And then this like mad scientist engineer with like
Yep.
400 wires running from these giant metered machines,
Yeah.
looking at us really stressed and going like, "You're good to go."
Yeah. So we've come a long way, Zach Miller, is what I want
That's
to
true.
say.
That's true.
Yeah.
Look, that was a highlight for my career. That was
Sure.
like, okay, I made it. I'm on community radio. There's a
Yes.
town crier here.
I know.
I made it. I'm
Yeah.
good.
So this is more pleasant even than that. Even than that. So
I didn't
thank
think
you
it
all
was
for being
possible.
here.
I didn't think it was possible, but I agree with Tara. So thank you to the lovely audience for coming out.
Yes, yes. Thank
You guys are
all so
essential
much.
to this. Thank you to the listener. Wherever you are listening from, we really appreciate you checking this out. And go download Tara's music right now. Look up her tour schedule because she's probably coming to you. Even if you're in like Utrecht, Germany, she might be there.
Eventually. Yep.
She might
eventually
come
it'll
to
be
you. So
Yeah.
it's okay. Look her up, Terra Spencer. Everybody just
Thank
look
you.
up Tara. Everybody look up the past episodes of the show. Thank you so much for doing this and taking a chance on this.
Oh, my pleasure. Absolutely.
You didn't know what you were walking into.
Oh, that's okay. That usually is better, but I think.
Is there supper? I'm there.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to choose a song to close out this wild show?
I would love to. I feel like I'm missing a piece of equipment that I was going to offer to you. But
Is it this thing?
oh, it is. Oh, great. So, are you all okay if I have Zach be a participant in this next song? So, great. Because one of the difficulties about making a record with someone like Ben Kaplan is that he is touring internationally all the time and couldn't be here tonight, despite the treadmill sale that's going on down the street. He had other things to attend to. So
I think he's actually camped outside of there right now.
So I'm going to close things out. We're going to close things out with the last song on this new record, and I would be thrilled to have Zach join in and contribute a little instrumentation at one point in the song.
I'd be honored to do my best on this fantastic little machine you brought me.
Okay, yeah, I brought you the least expensive harmonica that a big box music store offers.
It's called an Easy Rider, though, which is
It's
pretty
called
greasy.
an Easy Rider.
That's a greasy name for a harmonica.
Those lips just go.
Okay, now, hon. Oh, take
We
her
better
easy,
wrap
love.
this
Yeah,
up.
I better, before I get a phone number. Oh.
When all is lost and life turns upside down, a friend is there to turn your day around. When your hands are full, a friend might hold the door. Yes, that is what good friends are for. To keep your secrets under lock and key. To forgive the flaws that other folks don't see. To remind you of a joke that you once shared. Yes, that is how a good friend cares. A friend is nice when you need advice. They'll steer you clear of trouble. They understand when you need a hand. They will be there on the double. When you need a lift or you feel adrift, a friend might throw a line. It's such a gift to have a friend like mine. 'Cause anyone can love you at your best, but only a good friend can pass the test. They love you when you're angry, sad, or bitter. A friend makes you a winner when you feel like a quitter. Zach Miller. Just like at the regatta. When you're tipsy in the glow of candlelight, and you ask a friend if they might spend the night, but they don't stay, they go home to someone else. That is one way a good friend helps. A shoulder you can cry on and nothing more. Yes, that is what good friends are for.
What a show! You can catch Terra Friday, February 3rd, Saturday, February 4th, Sunday, February 5th, Monday, February 6th in Kansas City at the official showcase at Folk Alliance International. She's coming back to Union Street, Berwick, Nova Scotia, Saturday, February 11th with Pillow Fight. And then they're going to the Carlton in Halifax, Friday, March 3rd. Terra Spencer and Pillow Fight, Friday, March 3rd at the Carlton in Halifax. And then Thursday, March 16th, with Cameron Nickerson for his album release. He's a future guest for this show for sure. They're playing at the Carlton in Halifax on Thursday, March 16th. Friday, March 24th, she's at the Songwriters Night with Joyce Rayome at the Chester Legion, of course. And then Saturday, March 25th, man, she's busy. She's at Folk Fiesta at the Lunenburg Opera House, great venue. Then Wednesday, April 12th, Terra Spencer and Quote the Raven are playing the Carlton in Halifax. Then Friday, May 5th, ECMAs are happening. She's doing 2 for the show at the Halifax Ballroom, Halifax Marriott Harborfront Hotel. Then Saturday, May 6th, ECMA Showcase. She is busy and she will be very successful in all those ventures. It was a great show. I'm so glad she did it. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe, listen, tell your friends. Tell me what artists to bring down. Tell other artists. Tell everybody. See you soon.